Drink Cinema! Cheers.
Welcome to another episode of Two Drink Cinema. We are 2 out of 3 brothers reviewing movies 2 drinks at a time. Hello, Brett.
Hello, Liel. I am Brett L.
Brett L. Oh, I was going to say Borel, but that makes you sound boring. Borel, and I'll be LL.
LL Cool J.
We're reviewing Superman, in case you didn't work that out, by the title of the episode and the Jor-El
Reference
joke.
to Jor-El.
And the Marlon Brando.
You know what? Right.
And John Williams combination.
I was working out what t-shirt to wear for this, and I'm like, I have nothing that is relative to Superman.
Yeah.
And then I went through the t-shirts,
Yep.
and I was like, oh, Marlon Brando. Yeah, he's in Superman, you fucking idiot.
There were quite a few people that were considered for the role of Superman. So you probably could have chosen one of them.
I don't have a t-shirt of any of them.
Really? Not a t-shirt.
No.
I won't say any names. We'll talk about that when we will get to... I'm sure you'll talk about it in your segment later on. But let's have a drink. The tagline for Superman is, "You'll believe a man can fly."
I don't believe he can fly.
Yeah.
I don't believe he can touch the sky. I don't think about it every night and day, and I don't spread my wings and fly away.
Yeah. There's some interesting songs about Superman.
But would you think I'm crazy if you still call me Superman or whatever the fuck? I stuffed that one up. Anyway, speaking of kryptonite, this is
Okay.
what I'm calling this cocktail.
A kryptonite.
And basically, listeners slash watchers, I didn't just randomly point at things on the shelf.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you
It's
also didn't just go green. I'm going to
No.
pick green things because we did have a green thing for A Bug's Life.
Kind of green.
Yeah.
So, it's got in it some vodka,
Of course.
some Bacardi,
Yep.
some vanilla Galliano,
Oh, yeah.
some coconut rum, Malibu,
Because good.
some creme de banana,
Yep.
some blue curacao,
Yep.
and then it's all topped off with some lemonade.
All right. So the blue and the yellow make the green,
Yeah.
and then the rest of the ingredients just make you weak if you drink too many
Yeah.
of them.
Probably, because there's a lot of it.
All right.
All
That's
right.
it. It does have a blue to green tinge.
Yeah.
Cheers. It's banana vanilla.
Banana vanilla.
There's definitely banana vanilla in there. Yeah, I like
yeah.
it.
It's surprisingly not as sweet as I thought it was going to be.
After a few of these, you could believe that you can fly.
Yeah. After a few of these, you might be attracted to Margot Kidder, because that's the only way.
Yeah, Miss Tessmacher's better looking.
She's probably, I think she's a better actor as well.
All right. What did you watch it on? Question.
I watched it on the television.
Binge.
Yeah, binge.
Because my binge is doing annoying things where it's disconnecting from the internet occasionally. So I watched it on 4K disc, which I forgot I had.
Yeah.
So I probably should have done that before I went to binge. It was in
Yeah.
that empty spot there on the shelf that no one can see.
Oh, okay.
Did yours start with a little kid reading a comic book?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't remember that.
I wrote that started with a comic book.
don't remember the comic book.
No. I realised at the start and at the end of this movie that I get Superman 1 and 2 confused.
Yeah, so did I, because when I was pre-writing the most iconic scene,
Yes.
2 of them weren't in Superman.
Yes. Well, and when I mentioned last week that the Superman theme is better than the Star Wars opening theme, I referenced the flying through the clouds. That's in Superman 2.
Yeah.
And but it is that iconic, very 70s look, but that iconic, the words go through you at the screen.
Oh yeah,
You fly
it's just very
through the titles
it's very basic
and fly through
these
space
days, but
to
impressive.
get you to Krypton. or Krypton?
Krypton.
Yeah.
Krypton.
Marlon Brando says Krypton, but Christopher Reeve says Krypton.
Yeah, I mean, one grew up there. One's Marlon Brando.
That's true. So this... All right, so it's an interesting story. It's a long movie. Like, it's 2.5.
You know what? I was like, at some point, I was like, how long to go? And it was an hour in, and I'm like, we haven't even seen Christopher Reeve yet. Like, I feel like it took a long...
I also was waiting for Terence Stamp to come back.
Yes. I was like, when do they throw him into that weird glass thing?
Yeah, when does General Zod, like, blow down the street? No.
Yeah, when do they go to Niagara Falls?
In Superman 2. So we probably could have done a double up. Yeah, they really do, though, set up the whole Superman 2 thing at the start of Superman 1 because they entrap General Zod, the big guy and the woman, in the diamondy flippy thing.
Yeah.
At the start of Superman 1. And I even wrote, well, we've got the villain straight away in General Zod.
Yes.
On the alien planet, but we don't.
No.
We have the villain for Superman 2 at the start of Superman 1. It's interesting. It doesn't really follow what we now have as a superhero movie formula.
No.
Where I think these days most superhero movies set up a bad guy first, almost scene one of a lot of the superhero movies now.
Yeah, I think I did just watch Iron Man 2.
And we see the bad guy almost before we see the hero.
Yeah.
But that doesn't happen because we almost have a mini movie in itself of getting from him getting away from Krypton to him saving Lois Lane on the helicopter.
Yeah.
Like there to there is the origin story of Superman.
This first start of when they're on Krypton.
Yeah.
That was longer than I remember.
Yeah.
I thought it was just like crumble, crumble, put him in a thing and take him away.
Yeah. That's the when Russell Crowe's Jor-El for Henry Cavill.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's quicker. But it's all very well done. I don't think it's slow.
No.
And I think what Richard Donner and the writing team, which included a couple of interesting names.
I didn't know.
Mario Puzo.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, The Godfather?
Yes, the guy who wrote the novel that The Godfather is based on.
Yeah.
Wrote the screenplay for Superman. But what they did very well was they didn't tell you a whole lot of stuff.
No.
Stuff happened that told you things, which we know I don't like the clunky exposition. So I was happy with that. We get the Krypton and we get that Krypton's going to explode, and for some reason Marlon Brando isn't allowed to leave, so he sends his son.
Yes.
And
narrates his learnings.
Yes, he narrates his learnings.
Like he pre-recorded all of that.
As he gets to Earth, and then is instantly adopted by people that aren't even suspicious about aliens, and then he grows up to be presenting as a normal boy.
Mm-hmm.
In Smallville. We don't get bogged down in a whole history of Smallville because obviously Richard Donner knew that was going to be taken care of by Tom Welling 30 years later.
I thought that was Brandon Routh.
No, he was Superman Returns.
That's right. I get them confused because they're both average. To be honest, when we were talking earlier, texting today earlier, this is the only Superman I've seen.
Oh, really?
Like, I haven't seen Man of Steel.
Okay.
Or Lois and Clark. Or Superman Returns or Smallville.
So that's the main ones.
Like, this is the only Christopher Reeve is the only Superman I've seen.
You haven't seen George Reeves, The Adventures of Superman from 1951?
No, I haven't seen. Yep.
You haven't seen the new one when Tyler Hoechlin is in CW's Arrowverse?
No.
As Superman in the Supergirl series?
Nope.
There's a lot of Supermen around at the moment. You didn't see the Nicolas Cage version?
God, no. Kick-ass.
They started a Tim Burton Nicolas Cage Superman.
Was this before or after Batman?
After.
Of course.
But it got canned.
Good.
There was meant to be Superman Reborn in the 90s with Nicolas Cage, but it didn't happen.
Good. They stuck to Batman's.
Yeah. Well, they didn't stick with... Warner Brothers didn't stick with Tim Burton is actually what happened. And Tim Burton didn't stick with Warner Brothers. So, we get all that set up as that's the reason that he has to leave. And one thing that I think they do well is that the mum is concerned about sending Kal-El off.
Yep.
But then Marlon Brando is able to reply to those concerns explaining his powers.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
So she's like, he'll be alone. He'll be fucking Superman.
Yeah.
Calm
He'll
down.
be able to fly and see boobs and see lung cancers.
But not through lead.
No, not through lead.
But that gives us a good idea of what Superman's powers will be when he gets to Earth and why, without Marlon Brando having to say it in just a series of things.
Yeah.
Like in just explaining it to someone or Superman finding them out another way.
Uh-huh.
It's good and it's got some emotion as they're actually sending him away. Yeah, we don't get bogged down in Smallville. There's just the one scene, really, of him being an outsider because he's having to hold himself back.
Yep.
But then his dad, just in time, tells him that he's here for a reason just before he dies.
Well, that's because Clark Kent kills his father.
Why?
He makes him run.
Oh, yeah.
He does the run and then he goes, oh no, and then dies.
Okay.
So I was like, he killed his dad. That's my theory.
You know what?
Not intentionally, but he's the reason
Steel,
his dad died.
In Man of Steel, his dad dies. He kills his dad too. Because he makes his dad go back to the car. Well, there's a tornado. He makes his dad go back to the car to save the dog.
Well, that's just stupid.
Boom, Kevin Costner's gone.
Kevin Costner?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I should. No, I don't like him that much.
You know, I should make a meme that says Superman has two dads and he turned out fine. Because he does. He's got Jonathan Kent and Jor-El.
Oh, okay, I get you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you think? Martha's
No, I think you
merely a
meant.
man.
I thought you meant like Kevin Costner and whoever this guy is.
Well, yeah. In that movie, it's Kevin Costner and Russell Crowe. In this movie, it's that guy and Marlon Brando.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember. He's someone though.
He is someone, and we've seen him in other movies. So, yeah, we get a series of scenes, really, that get us to the point of Clark Kent getting the Fortress of Solitude and then very quickly becoming Superman.
Yes.
But again, we don't get bogged down in Marlon Brando catching up Kal-El on everything.
Larry Hagman? He
No.
doesn't get a credit.
Really?
He doesn't get a credit? Or did I just skip past that? Or is he stupidly in the wrong order of credits?
I don't know. Glenn Ford as Jonathan Kent.
Oh, there it is. Sorry, I missed it.
Yeah.
I just didn't expect his name to be Jonathan. Anyway.
Yeah, Glenn Ford is who he is. Blackboard Jungle. Lots of stuff in the 60s.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, again, what they do really well is to give us some more exposition, but in a story way, is we have Jor-El has to catch Kal-El up on all the things that are about Krypton and all the things about the universe.
Uh-huh.
And we have this scene where Kal-El is just doing all of the learning.
Yes.
And we need that scene to show that he's doing the learning. But what we hear of Jor-El are just the key things that relate to Earth.
You will have super strength.
Yeah.
That's a terrible...
So we just get
Apologies, Mum.
things like, a bit of this power. Krypton died, so you have to go. I chose Earth, and it's their capacity for good, which sets up this whole thing. And Superman is the idea and the ideal of hope for good.
Yeah.
Even though people are shit. And
people
still
are shit.
Almost 100 years since Superman started.
Especially people watching a helicopter fall from a 100-story building or however big the fucking building is.
Yeah, I don't know why some people ran away and some people ran to, and then some people ran away and then ran to.
I don't know why some people seem to be laughing as well.
Was it Margot's kid a nut job acting?
Wow! She was bad. Now I get that Family Guy reference.
Yeah. It's not Kate. No Kate Capshaw.
Well, similarities.
So, then while Jor-El does all of that explaining, this young man turns into Christopher Reeve.
Yeah.
And he just decides then to go to a city that's definitely not New York.
No, not at all. No, nothing like it.
Not New
Gotham.
York.
I mean, New York.
Definitely not.
No.
Then, an hour into the movie, we get a villain.
Yes.
Then it's like the cops follow this random dude down the train tracks, and then it's Lex Luthor.
Yeah. Well, is Ned Beatty going to be the villain here? He's not going to be a very good one.
Because up until then, the only person we don't like, potentially, is Chief. Is Perry White.
Yeah, but he just yells.
Yeah, but he's still, likable.
Yeah.
More likable than J. Jonah Jameson in Spider-Man.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Lex Luthor is already a villain. Often in the origin story of a big superhero, you get the origin story of the villain as well.
Okay.
Like Batman. Well, actually,
you don't get Jokers, do you? You get Penguins.
Well, in the first Burton Batman, you do.
Oh, okay.
He falls into Dark Knight. Tub.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Dark Knight, you get kind of the start of Scarecrow, but you don't get the origin.
You get kind of the start of Two-Face as well.
You don't get the yeah, you do. You don't get the origin of Joker. You get the start of Catwoman, and you get the start of Penguin in Batman Returns. You get the start of all of them.
You get the start of Bane in Batman and Robin.
Yeah, and you get the start of Poison Ivy and Mr. Freeze.
Yeah, and they're the greatest too.
Yeah,
they're the best too.
So we don't get an origin of Lex Luthor. He's a genius, and we know he's a super villain and not just a normal villain because he lives under the train tracks in a lair.
That is not Grand Central Station.
No.
It's an impressive
pushed
lair
in front of the train, though.
Yeah, and all they find is his hat.
House of Cards flashbacks.
It's I like it as a lair. I also have no memory of the lair.
No, I remember the lair.
Layer. If we're saying what things are based off. I don't how do you make a pool down there?
I don't know. I'm wondering if that flooded.
Yeah, maybe.
A bit like Penguin's lair.
Okay.
But not sewage.
And didn't just flow from the circus.
No.
Is that what happened? Yeah.
That's what happened, yes. So I don't get I like it, but I don't get the running joke of the fact that Lois can't spell.
I hate it. I hated it.
How do you spell massacre?
I wrote spoiler alert spoiler alert. I'm not going to say which one I found the worst, but I was like, she is a fairly high profile reporter
on about a Pulitzer
at the New York Times, the Daily Planet, and she can't spell.
No.
Hated it. She's also not very smart.
No, but that's the thing I think of, the woman.
Yeah.
Yeah. In these superhero movies, is they're not smart.
Uh-huh.
Even Amy Adams, Lois Lane, not super smart.
Right. What about Terry Hatcher?
Just tits.
Okay. That lines up with what I know her career to be, which is that and
Seinfeld.
Desperate Housewives.
Seinfeld, where they joke about
They're
her tits.
real, yeah.
Yeah. So the... Oh, actually, I've just read ahead in my notes. That's one I've got to move into worst line territory. But then once something gets him started as Superman, I don't know, like he decided to become Superman. Well, he started to become a hero, right?
Yeah. With the helicopter.
But no. He flew out of the Fortress of Solitude dressed as Spider-Man.
Superman,
right?
I don't know where he got that from, but continue.
Well, the story apparently is that that's made out of the blanket that he landed in.
Nope.
Anyway, he flies out of the Fortress of Solitude as Superman, but then just gets a job at the Daily Planet?
Yeah, because he can type really fast.
Yeah, but like...
That's why.
If you've gone to the Fortress of Solitude and your real dad has explained to you why he sent you to Earth to be an example of goodness and hope,
why be a nerdy bloody thing?
Well, there's a reason for him to be a nerdy thing, is that so that no one finds out, right? Blah, blah, blah. Why wait?
But why not just stay in your Fortress of Solitude, then fly in, fly out?
That's true also.
Like, why do you need to have another life other than to sleep with women?
But Superman could sleep with women.
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah.
Like, you don't... Like, Clark Kent has more riz, as the kids put it, less riz than Superman.
Yeah, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So, you don't need to become this nerdy do-gooder who says swell in order to get laid.
Yeah.
Just be Superman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm sure that's not why he did it.
Maybe he did it just so he could be around people and, like, see what's going on. You know what I mean?
To be honest, the location on the northeast coast of America where Metropolis may or may not be...
Yeah, no, on some sort of island with a big lady standing there.
...is probably a better location than the North Pole in terms of quickly accessing issues.
What are you going to save? The penguins in Happy Feet?
They're from the South Pole.
Oh, shit.
As far away as possible.
What are you going to save Santa? Santa's in trouble again.
Well, and
Maybe that's how he does it.
He grew up in Kansas, so probably wherever near New York Metropolis is closer to Kansas than the Fortress of Solitude.
Yep.
And only bad things happen in America.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Because it's a comic book.
Uh-huh. And they only happen on the bottom west and the top east.
Yeah.
That's the only where bad things happen in comic books.
The middle. Except in Superman 2, I'm pretty sure something happens in the middle of the country and that's where he fights.
Oh, like the old
General Zod.
Like a Western standoff in the street. That's all I remember.
Yeah, but with laser eyes.
Like, throws thing. Yep.
Yeah. Or am I getting that confused with the Man of Steel General Zod?
No, that's 2. He has laser eyes and he blows up something.
I better watch Superman 2 then.
Yep.
All right, so then, once he gets the helicopter and it's like, well, I'm out there now, I may as well do a whole lot of little things in the one night.
Yes.
Because he does all the way up to, like, stopping a train, saving a cat, climbing up a building to stop that guy.
Yep.
Like, lots of little things, all just back to back to back, which is a good thing to show what he can do. So that's an origin story tick box.
Yeah.
Lots of little... They all have...
He does little things and big things. He's just a great guy.
Yeah, but all kind of origin stories, well, actually a lot of them, have a few little scenes of them doing stuff. Mm-hmm. Like Batman isn't just like Joker straight away. He stops a couple of normal fights and a mugging and
that's true.
You know, stuff like that. And Spider-Man swings around and helps an old lady cross the street. And,
of course.
You know, stops a bodega getting robbed because he lives in Queens.
Yeah.
Field. Yep. Yeah. Superman does that. Then Lex Luthor learns of Superman and he's very happy about it because he wants the challenge.
Yeah.
Which is a good supervillain thing.
Yeah.
I like that. He's like, well, now I can finally be a supervillain because there's a Superman.
Yeah.
But Lois Lane just wants the man.
Lois Lane.
Horny points.
Lois Lane.
Fancy, right? Even in 2023, on a first date, a person you don't know the name of, asking them what colour underwear you think I'm wearing.
Yeah. Do you like the pink?
Do you like pink?
Yeah. Suggestive.
Oh, my goodness. She would have, if he hadn't have flown away, she would have...
He would have got something in the pink.
But the interview is a good story device to make sure that Lex Luthor knows about krypton, knows about lead.
Yeah.
Does Metropolis... I know we've said Metropolis is a bit New York.
It is New York, yep.
Does Metropolis have a Statue of Liberty, or does he fly her to New York?
I guess he would say that he has to fly her to New York because Metropolis is not New York, but it's New York.
Yeah, so why put the Statue of Liberty there?
Because that's how you know it's America. Like,
okay, right.
That and Planet of the Apes, it's the only way you know it's Earth. And America is if you see the Statue of Liberty, because it's the only monument they have. Well, I suppose that you can just do the Washington Monument, because then there's just a big pole sticking out of the sand.
Yeah.
You know, like in Planet of the Apes. Anyway.
I feel like isn't the Washington Monument fairly new?
Yep. I don't know when it was built.
It was built in 1848.
Yes, it's fairly new.
No, construction started in 1848. It was established in 1966.
Wow.
But opened in 1888.
That makes no sense. Okay.
Google did not help me with that one. I'm sorry. Lois's poem is weird. In her head while
Lois
they're
is
flying.
weird. I don't like Lois Lane.
What do you like about me? Do you like, and I can't even, because it's
I'm
just
quivering
weird rhymes.
like a girl in a...
And I'm flying in a whirl.
And then I let go of his hand and expect to keep flying?
Yeah.
I don't... She's not a smart lady.
I would be gripping on for my life.
Yeah.
Also, I don't want to argue with the physics of Richard Donner.
Okay.
But unless she arms out, right?
Yeah.
Unless she is stiff as a board,
she's not going to stay.
She's not staying up.
She'd be...
She's like getting carried like this, dangling off his hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. What he should be doing is holding her under the bazungas.
Yeah. Like...
And she flies underneath him.
Yeah.
And then he's stiff as a board.
Like in Bug's Life.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so then we get some actual villain stuff, and we get Lex Luthor's plan explained to us because he has dumb offsiders, which is a clever way to put a bit of comic relief in, but also a clever way to let the audience know what the plan is. But we don't fully know the plan. We know he's going to try and find some kryptonite. And we know he needs to take Superman out of the equation in order to enact his plan. And then it kind of goes a little bit quickly through that.
Yeah.
It's like gets to the warhead, reprograms them, fucks that up, tries again, reprograms them, gets Superman, puts the kryptonite necklace around him, and then he almost drowns.
Yep.
Miss Tessmacher saves him because she actually just realised Lex Luthor's a bad guy.
And because her dad lives in New Jersey.
Yeah, and that's what makes her realise, oh, hang on, this supervillain that lives in a lair is actually a bad guy.
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have slept with him all those times.
Yes, and now she then unconsensually kisses Superman, but saves him.
Yes, that was just her, fee.
John Ratzenberger is in the control thing for the missiles.
I was like, Cliff?
The missiles then explode things. I'm not sure exactly where they land.
Nope.
One in New Jersey to make a dam explode.
Yeah.
Is that one?
The Hoover, not the Hoover Dam. Yeah. No,
No, I think he sends the New Jersey one out to space.
Yeah.
But then the San Andreas one
does that
lands.
one first, yes.
And then he has to, which this is amazing.
It doesn't make sense to me.
Rebuild the San Andreas fault.
Yeah, by
hand.
Which is dumb.
In lava.
But in just
by
one
putting rocks
area,
back.
he just puts one bit back and then it's The whole fault.
Well, I think the idea is that you just see him put one rock back and then assume that he's quick enough that he's put all the other rocks back.
I don't assume that.
Okay.
I think it was just... And also not a great kind of...
Look.
Model.
Yeah. But the effect of the train running over him is pretty good.
Yeah, even though that's, again, not how science works. But yeah.
Why would it not work like that?
Because the metal has to be on the metal track. It would, boom. It would derail still.
Yeah, okay.
Because the wheel...
The width of Superman is wider than the width of the track.
Yeah, and it wouldn't have a groove to sit on.
Yeah, okay.
Unless he can somehow... is actually made of steel.
No, it would run over him.
Yeah.
But it would probably go wonky for a bit.
Yeah. Well, my train does that in between South Kensington and Footscray.
Yeah.
So...
The... Also...
Yep.
I don't want to argue again with the physics.
I know, because it's a superhero movie.
Spinning the Earth backwards does not wind back time.
Especially when things that happen at the same time would then still be happening at the same time.
Well, there's two Supermans in that time. Because I thought the same thing. If he goes back and saves Lois Lane, who rebuilds the San Andreas Fault?
Yes.
There's two Supermans there. Because when you time travel back, as Christopher Lloyd tells us, there's two of you there.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah? So there's one to save Jimmy Olsen and one to save Lois Lane, and one that saves Jimmy Olsen is rebuilding the fault.
Yep. Okay.
And then the movie ends.
And then just...
Then he just goes and picks up Gene Hackman and dumps him in the prison.
These are bad guys. See you later.
And then he has a bit of an Adam West...
Because of you, Superman.
That's a bit of an Adam West Batman moment.
Yeah.
Where the warden goes, "Thank you, Superman." And then Superman goes, "No, thank you, Warden," and then flies off.
That is very, I feel, the end of every comic book ended that way.
Yeah. Thank you, Superman. No, it is you who are the heroes, general people.
Yeah, the general public is a hero.
Everybody is capable of being heroes, 13-year-old boy.
Yeah.
That is your message for life.
Yes.
But you have to leave your room, kids.
But you have to leave your room and then also do it without having the ability to do any of the things that he does that makes him Superman.
Yeah, you have to do it without having Krypton powers or billions of dollars like Batman.
It's also kind of weird talents, powers. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, because sometimes in the other superheroes, it's all kind of related.
Yeah.
Where this is just like, what do you want? I want to fly.
Strong.
Fly. X-ray vision.
Which are the only ones we get in this movie.
What does he do in the other one?
Eye zapping.
Oh, I thought that was the baddie.
Heat vision he has. And ice breath.
Ice breath.
Yeah.
No, isn't that the baddie?
No, he has it too.
Oh, because they're the same race.
Yeah.
And all people of the same race are the same.
Have the same powers.
Oh, that was a joke.
That's all right. I'm putting that on the TikTok.
You know what I found very interesting?
The impact of Superman the movie.
Before we get to that, just the general credits.
At the end?
At the start.
Yeah.
Who the number one credited person is Marlon Brando.
Yeah. Well, he's the name.
Well, and
because Christopher Reeve was no one.
Yeah, so when Marlon Brando, Gene Hackman, Christopher Reeve.
Then Margot Kidder.
Then Ned Beatty. Then Jackie Cooper, then Glenn Ford, then Trevor Howard, then Margot Kidder.
Yeah, right. Jackie Cooper, he's a big name. Yeah. Valerie Perrine, I've never heard of her.
She's done a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, Marlon Brando's an interesting guy, isn't he?
Yes.
He had a plan to not be in it, but he wanted to just kind of use his voice, and that Jor-El be like just an object that can speak.
Oh, floating head.
And it would just be, but not even a floating head, just like, I think it's like a suitcase. Or this says...
A crystal with a little cartoon mouth.
In that first meeting... Marlon Brando wanted Jor-El to appear as a green suitcase or a bagel with Brando's voice.
Everything Everywhere All at Once, the Brando version.
But then Richard Donner was like, no, but you're Marlon Brando. We want to see Marlon Brando.
But also in the comic books, Jor-El is a man.
Yeah.
So
then could you imagine being like, why did this bagel
give me to another planet?
Yeah.
Birth a human.
Birth a human.
Or a human-looking Kryptonian.
Brando got $3.7 million plus 11.75% of the box office.
Wow.
Which totaled $19 million.
God.
But that wasn't enough. So he sued Warner Brothers for $50 million because he thought he was get cheated out of his share of the box office.
Wow. And he's Marlon Brando, so you're just like, well, okay.
And it did make $134 million.
So he wasn't.
No.
Did he win the case?
I don't think so.
I wouldn't imagine so.
If maths was involved, I hope not.
Yeah, true.
Look, there's a fair bit of impact.
Yeah, okay. Let's talk about it. It's the first real blockbuster superhero movie.
It's the first. People say it is the first superhero from a comic book movie, big one. You know.
Well, 66 Batman might have something to say about that. It didn't take $100 million.
No. Yeah. So it followed on. By this time, summer blockbusters were very much a thing.
Yep.
Jaws, Star Wars, Close Encounters, then Superman.
Superman, yes.
At that time, it was the most expensive film ever made with a budget of $55 million.
It's still a lot of money to make a movie these days.
Yeah, like I could make a movie with $55 million.
Yeah.
Like I could make it with $5 million and keep the 50 for myself.
Keep it for Marlon Brando in case he sues you.
In case he sues me for wearing his T-shirt. It was nominated for 3 Oscars.
Yep.
For the sound, the editing, and the music, obviously.
All very good.
And it won a Special Achievement Oscar for its visual effects.
Well, because you could believe a man could fly.
I could believe a man could fly. I'm not going to do the thing I already did at the start. It is on the AFI's list of 100 years, 100 heroes and villains.
3.
26.
What?
As in Superman, the character, is number 26.
Incorrect.
Out of 50 heroes.
Incorrect.
But number 1, is like Gregory Peck or something. To Kill a Mockingbird. So it's not hero. It's heroes.
It's not superheroes.
Not superheroes.
Yeah, but Gregory Peck just saved one man.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
But actually, I'm going to say incorrect, right? Oh, actually, let's look. The highest ranking superhero is Superman at 26. The highest sci-fi is Han Solo at 14.
Indiana Jones is
Indiana
number 2.
Jones is number 2. And then James Bond.
Yeah, but number 4 is Humphrey Bogart in Casablanca, and I don't think that's right.
I don't know. He's not particularly heroic. He's very selfish.
Yeah, but he saved Ilsa, that's why. That's basically the reason he's on there. And because this AFI fucking froths Casablanca.
They're putting Clarice Starling from Silence of the Lambs ahead of Superman.
Yep.
No.
But I love that number 28 on this list is Juror number 8.
We've done 12 Angry Men.
We have done a few on this list.
But Juror number 8 is above General George Patton.
Yeah, an actual real life
World War II general.
But interesting, Hannibal Lecter is the number 1 villain.
Yeah, above...
Oh, Darth Vader. Oh, there's some good...
Norman Bates, Darth Vader, the Wicked Witch of the West. She's a bitch.
The villains are better than the heroes.
They're better ranked too.
Especially Phyllis Dietrichson.
Especially Mr. Potter from It's a Wonderful Life.
He's a villain.
All right, let's get back on track.
Anyway. So it did that. We've already touched on Smallville, blah, blah, blah.
Yes,
you could argue, is it the comic book or is it the movie? But I think it's more the movie made the story a bit more kind of mainstream.
Yeah, if there's not this movie, then there's not the Real Adventures of Lois and Clark. There's not
The Real Adventures?
I think it's The Real Adventures. Or am I thinking
Of old Christine.
Oh no, Lois and Clark: The New Adventures of Superman.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're not getting Lois and Clark. We're not getting any career from Dean Cain. Really.
We're not getting Dean Cain. So I don't know. Yeah.
Smallville, Superman Returns, all the rest of it.
Yeah, and who? Brandon Rouse. What else has he done? Tom Welling. What else has he done?
Yeah.
Henry Cavill. Nothing.
But also, we don't get Superman movies, like superhero movies.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
You don't get Batman. You don't get Marvel.
And it is a while, like it's 10 years between Superman and Batman. But I don't think...
It's not like 10 days between superhero movie releases now.
Yeah.
Because that's all we can do.
I watched one recently. I'm going to talk about it in 2 out of 3 recommend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it Iron Man 2?
I'm not going to recommend it.
Was it the first half of Iron Man 2 that I watched?
Before you fell asleep
God,
again?
I couldn't do it.
What else?
It was the second highest grossing movie of 1978.
After...
We mentioned it in a recent episode, but we didn't do it as in that episode.
Are we going to do it in a future episode?
We've done it. Wait. We've done it. We've done it.
What is it?
Grease.
Oh, yeah, we have done it ages ago.
Yeah. This
year we did it.
Grease box office was 159 million.
It was also mentioned in our top 5 music in school settings.
That's what I was referencing.
Yes.
And then Superman 134 million. The film inspired the Kinks' 1979 song, I Wish I Could Fly Like Superman.
That was a big hit.
And then Kryptonite. If I go crazy, well, then you still call me Superman.
Kryptonite. And the opening song from Scrubs.
I'm still Superman. Yeah. I'm no Superman.
I'm no Superman.
So, guess what shows it's been referenced in?
Family Guy.
Fucking everything.
The Simpsons. Everything.
Family Guy, The Simpsons,
Seinfeld. Jerry's a huge Superman fan. And everything. Terry Hatcher's tits are in it as well. So there's another link.
Yeah. Because on things it says like what they're referenced in. It's got Seinfeld, the stakeout. When George is kidding Jerry, he says, Jerry probably wishes Superman would fly around the world real fast so he could turn back time.
Yeah. It's also in The Race, the one where he's racing his mate from high school. There's Superman references.
The Superman reference in everything.
The Superman theme plays.
Well, that's what I found interesting when I was looking up kind of references and trying to find everything. A lot of the, featured in and referenced in is the music.
Yeah.
So
it's an iconic opening theme.
He does iconic things.
We might talk about that later.
Family Guy is an episode where Peter and Lois have Margot Kidder over for dinner.
She goes nuts.
She goes, we loved you in Superman. And then she just screams and runs around.
Oh, dear, Margot Kidder. And then he marries her.
Joe, there was one where, just so random. This is almost embodies the randomness of Family Guy.
Okay.
Joe, the policeman in a wheelchair.
Yes.
Is going around looking for... Stewie's gone missing, right? Or something like that. Yeah.
Yep.
And he's going around knocking, have you seen this? And he goes to the Fortress of Solitude.
Okay.
And he knocks on the door, or whatever you do, and I look for Stewie, and Superman doesn't answer. You know that, like, Mexican maid that pops up?
Oh, yeah.
She's like, no, Mr. Superman, not here. Yeah. That's the randomness. And you know what the other impact was?
What?
I did the movie emoji today.
And it was Superman.
It was Superman. It came at the first emoji was like a superhero, and I just went, "What? Wouldn't it be funny if it was Superman?" Anyway, that was random.
Didn't you do that last week?
It was Michelle Yeoh when we were talking about thing.
American-born Chinese,
right? Creepy.
Yeah.
So we mentioned before casting.
Yes.
It's a big thing. It's a big movie. It's going to have a lot of people interested.
Yes, of course.
So DC were fine with them doing a movie, but the producers had to be like, here's who we're considering. then DC will be like, fine.
Well, it took them a long time to get the rights.
It did.
And then they eventually,
fair enough.
The Salkins got the rights.
Yeah.
So who were we considering?
Producers' choices included Al Pacino. No.
Too small.
James Caan. No. Do you reckon Mario Puzo just went through the cast of The Godfather? Steve McQueen.
Heroic, but no.
Clint Eastwood.
Too serious.
Dustin Hoffman.
Too short.
Muhammad Ali.
Would have been good, but this is going to sound terrible. It's 1978.
Yeah.
Too black.
Well, that'd make it 3 black people in the movie if he was in it.
Yep. It's not until Richard Pryor that there's any black person of note in a Superman film.
Yeah.
In Superman 3.
They wanted an A-lister. Robert Redford was offered a lot of money.
Yeah.
But he himself thought he was too famous. So, well done, Robert Redford.
How's the gall on him?
No. I'm too famous for Superman.
Too big for this movie.
Burt Reynolds turned it down.
That's okay.
Sylvester Stallone was interested.
Yeah.
And then the bird, and then the plane.
Was this pre-Rocky?
It was after Rocky. Rocky was 76.
Yeah, okay.
Paul Newman was offered a choice. They go, you can be Superman, Lex Luthor, or Jor-El. Just either one of them.
Please be in this movie.
Any of them for $4 million.
That's huge.
Turned it all down.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Olympic champion dead name Jenner. This is what it said in Wikipedia. It didn't say dead name. It said Bruce. Caitlyn Jenner auditioned for the role.
Yes.
Didn't get it, obviously. Patrick Wayne was cast, but dropped out when his father, John Wayne, was diagnosed with stomach cancer.
Oh.
Nearly a Nepo baby. Neil Diamond wanted it.
Very odd.
Arnold Schwarzenegger. Could you imagine Superman being Austrian?
Well, truth and justice in the American way. As an Austrian.
He became a politician.
He became the governor of California.
James Caan, James Brolin, Christopher Walken, Nick Nolte, John Voight were approached.
God, can you imagine Christopher Walken as Superman?
Nick Nolte wanted to play Superman as a schizophrenic.
He's weird.
That was what
Nick
other
Nolte
one were
is
we?
Weird.
What other one were we doing? This is a while ago, and it was weird because they wanted. Was it Jake Gyllenhaal wanted Donnie Darko to have a stutter? It was something like that, wasn't it? Charles Bronson, no. Warren Beatty was offered the role but turned it down. So they got Ned instead, I guess.
Yeah.
James Caan said he was offered the role but turned it down because he just couldn't wear the suit. And then they said, I don't know how they got onto Christopher Reeve.
Well, I read they wanted an unknown, and Christopher Reeve. They were like, I think he'll be good, but then they were like, no, he's too skinny.
He's too skinny, so it's like, well, I'll bulk up.
Someone trained him. I read this recently.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, Steve McQueen, James Caan. It was James Caan, wasn't it?
Where did I read it? I'm just trying to.
I feel like I've heard that anecdote as well.
Another thing said over 200 actors auditioned for Superman.
Yep.
Darth Vader.
Oh, the guy who in the suit.
The guy in the suit, not James Earl Jones. The guy in the suit, David Prowse, was a British weightlifting champion and bodybuilder.
Mm.
So he trained and put something like, 10, 20 kilos of muscle on Christopher Reeve so that he could be, according to his interview, 225 pounds of Superman.
They also had a few choices for Margot Kidder. I mean, Lois Lane. But it came down to Margot Kidder and Stockard Channing were the final two.
Imagine Stockard Channing could have been a teen pregnancy and the misspelt lead reporter at the Daily Planet in the same year in the 2 highest grossing films of the year.
Yeah. They also, this won't surprise anybody that Richard Donner was not the first choice to make a blockbuster summer hit movie. Guess who the first choice the producer wanted?
Steven
Spielberg. They were like, we don't want to sign him until Jaws opens, and we'll just see how Jaws does.
Yeah.
Then they offered it to him, but then by then he'd already committed to doing Close Encounters.
Yeah.
So he couldn't do it. They also wanted George Lucas, but he was doing this other little movie. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, he was doing 3 other little movies.
Yeah. So he turned down that offer as well. So, as you can imagine, being a big movie, there was a lot of casting dilemmas.
Very interesting.
And I just think, could you imagine if the movie had been like Muhammad Ali and Stockard Channing?
Muhammad Ali, Stockard Channing, Marlon Brando, and Robert Redford. Is that who you said had the choice of it?
No, Paul Newman. Paul Newman could have been...
Paul Newman is Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
Marlon Brando's suitcase is Jor-El.
Yep.
And then
could have been a talking
Muhammad
suitcase.
Ali falls in love with Stockard Channing.
Yeah.
Directed by George Lucas.
Yeah.
Very different
music
movie.
still by John Williams. That's the only thing that would have stayed the same.
Well, no, I read that the guy who composed the music for The Omen was Richard Donner's first choice.
I feel like Richard Donner had a few first choices, but none of them eventuated.
He dropped out over scheduling conflicts, and they got this, young up-and-coming John Williams to do it.
Already won like 2 Oscars by there.
Jerry Goldsmith, who scored The Omen, was meant to do Thingo, and some of Jerry's, how they use comparable music in trailers.
Uh-huh.
Some of Jerry Goldsmith's Planet of the Apes soundtrack was used in the Superman trailer.
Yes.
But then Jerry Goldsmith couldn't do it, so John Williams got his London Symphony Orchestra to record the soundtrack as well. And the Superman main title reached 81 on the US Billboard Hot 100.
Gosh.
And 69 Cashbox. I don't know what that is.
I don't know that. I've never heard that before.
We'll come back to that, but let's give some awards for the movie of Superman the movie.
Yes.
Which can be called Superman or Superman the movie.
Let's call it Superman.
Okay. The Andy Millman from Extras, Ricky Gervais, Worst Extra Award.
Uh-huh.
I have looked. Most of the extras around the city and the office are pretty good.
There's a lot of extras. It was almost distracting.
Well, and they're all pretty natural.
Yeah.
Which I think is good.
You know what I said? She's not an extra. Okay. She's not an extra. This is just a mention because I have to say it.
Margot Kidder.
No. When we're seeing young Clark Kent at high school and that girl...
Lana.
Yeah, her.
Who occasionally in other iterations of Superman is Lana Luthor.
Ooh.
Yeah.
She's like, we're having a party tonight. Do you want to come?
Do you want to come and buy some record albums?
Yeah. We're going to just sit around and play records. Pfft.
That's what the kids did in that maybe 50s.
1, 2, 3, and then he runs by a train. Dumb. Anyway. That's for the train reference.
Only one person sees him on the train. All of them worst extra nomination.
The other one, I had a few. The other one I wrote was, there's a thing where they're at the Daily Planet and Clark and Lois are walking out and then Lois goes into the bathroom.
Yes.
And then his trench coat gets caught in the door. And then he awkwardly keeps walking down the hall. There is a guy who I swear is just like standing and then waiting and then like goes, now. Like in Truman Show, but like not meant to be obvious.
I love those extras.
I think he was like standing there and he's like, now walk around the corner.
Can I mention another one that is also something I would change about this movie if it was remade?
Yeah.
He gets the cat out of the tree.
Yes.
Right? And then he gives the cat to the girl.
Yeah.
And the girl runs in and says, Mummy, this happened.
Mm.
And the mum says, I told you not to lie, and slaps the girl.
Yes. Yeah. And you don't see the mum. Well, probably because you couldn't show them slapping a girl.
That, I cringed.
Yeah.
And I don't want that to win because I don't want to put that scene on TikTok.
I wrote any of the army men.
The soldiers standing around perving on her.
Yes. And the guy
they're all just like big horny.
Well, then it also goes into worst line.
Yeah.
How do you do CPR, a vigorous chest massage?
Well, and I had in worst line, I wouldn't do anything I wouldn't ask my men to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, those soldiers standing around, but the one that goes to give her mouth to mouth, and then he says no, and then he acts like a 10-year-old kid that's just had his soccer ball taken away from him.
Soccer ball, okay, yep.
Oh, it's because... And he's just like...
That's the number one sport in Metropolis, so...
/ New York. And he just, like, grumbles off to call the ambulance.
Yeah, him. He's terrible.
He flies past a bus.
Yep.
And 4 people react. 10 others look at him but don't react.
Yep. That was also the reaction I had issue with when he's doing the helicopter bit. People are just like, yay, he's come to save the day, not, oh my fucking God, there is a guy flying. We haven't seen this before.
This is literally a dude flying up a building in a red cape.
What the fuck, man?
Yeah.
They were like, but yay, he got hurt. Like we knew who he was.
It's not like in the Marvel Cinematic Universe when Ant-Man appears, no one reacts that bigly.
Because he's a little ant.
Yeah. But because they've seen Iron Man and Thor and Hulk.
Yeah.
So that when Ant-Man comes along, they're like, oh, and it's another fucking Avenger.
Yeah, good. How much is he getting paid for this?
Yeah. Who's it going to then?
I think the army men.
The inappropriate army guys.
Inappropriate army guys.
Yeah.
It could be a tie.
Yeah, I'm going to give it to the inappropriate army guys. The Estelle Reiner Best Extra Award. I want to nominate the pilot of Air Force One, who turns and just goes...
Just waves?
Just fly.
Yeah! The guy that... Because he waves, and then he goes, why did I wave?
Why did I wave to this random guy?
Just fly.
Fly.
I think I had that too. And then I wrote there was a guy that... So Superman did his quick change in the revolving door.
Yes.
And then there's one guy goes, man, that's a bad outfit.
And he goes, excuse me, and then flies off.
And then I also wrote Cliff.
Yeah. Yes.
John Ratzenberg, for those that haven't watched Cheers. This is our second... We've done back-to-back John Ratzenberg movies without even intending it.
When the dam floods the power station... and an
electrical
wire falls on the car, and the guys in the car are just like...
I also read there was the guys that are like carrying out one of the guys in the dam. Is like, are you okay? They're like, yeah.
Gentlemen, is that man all right? And he goes, yeah.
Yes.
Because we love, yeah.
Yeah.
We love it.
We've got a few options. It's good. But I think... I was going to say...
We both nominated the pilot.
We both nominated the damn guy too.
Just fly.
Just fly. Yeah. That's because that's a good...
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a bit... For me, it's more the waving at him and then going, why did I wave?
Yeah. That guy would have been good in Plan 9 from Outer Space.
He would have been the best actor in it.
Something in a flying saucer. I'm muzzled by my breasts.
If people don't know that, oh gosh.
Can we do Plan 9 from Outer Space again?
Well, do we? Yeah, we do it once a year, don't we?
1959. It's not an anniversary.
Oh, it can be.
We'll do it as a bonus Halloween episode.
It was. It's the anniversary of when Ed Wood first went to that chiropractor.
You know what it is, the anniversary
This is so random. Nobody's going to get these references. People, if you get these references, please let us know. You'll be our number one fan.
You know what is the 70-year anniversary of?
Wait. I can do maths. 1953. From Here to Eternity. Robot Monster.
Robot Monster.
Oh, really?
Yep. It's there.
Yeah,
I bought the 3D version.
Oh, God.
Can we put that
I was explaining that to...
put that in Halloween.
I was explaining that to some friends not that long ago, and they're like... What do you mean it's really bad? I'm like, he walks out of a cave in a gorilla suit with a space helmet on, and then it's like to indicate that it's all fancy and magic. It's bubbles. Anyway, moving on.
Okay,
so we're giving it to the airport.
Just
the
fly.
Air Force One.
Mozzabar me brass.
Yeah.
The worst line, Halle Berry X-Men Worst Line Award. I've already mentioned I wouldn't ask my men to do something I wouldn't do.
Yeah.
And then I am also nominating the entire poem while she's flying.
I am nominating something that we touched on earlier. When Clark's dad has a heart attack, he just goes, he grabs his arm and goes, oh no, and then dies.
He knows it's a heart attack.
And then I also wrote, there's only one P in rapist.
Yeah. Even I reckon in 1978, that's a jarring line.
I also was like, you know, when they did that bit, look, all these other newspapers are talking about this guy who saved one of our reporters. Why are we not more involved with this story? Fucking idiots. And one of them was, look, Ma, no wires.
Okay, that's odd. Is it a case of the people didn't want to report on it because it was their helicopter that fucked up? Like in Hairspray, when Velma Von Tussle won't send her own news crew to report on her racist TV show.
Yes, okay.
But then he says anyway, I want this guy.
And they were like, how are we going to find out who he is? But it wasn't. None of them was like, Lois, he knows you. That's our way in. Nobody quite got that was their way in.
Yeah. Nobody got...
More just Lois, is he single? Wow.
But also, nobody got that the guy that rocked up to the paper the day before this happened looks like the guy that just saved your helicopter.
Lee, he looks nothing like him. Look. Completely different guy.
Oh,
like, where'd Brett go?
We got a new podcast host.
For those who are just listening, I took off my glasses. Which Peter also does in an episode of Family Guy that I watched yesterday, randomly.
There is a meme that I've seen going around the internet. Seeing Zoe Deschanel without bangs or glasses made me accept that maybe people couldn't figure out that Clark Kent was Superman.
I was watching Almost Famous the other day with Mum.
Yes.
And Zoe Deschanel's in it.
Oh, yeah.
Great cast in Almost Famous. It's a good one to remember for a 6 degrees. We were like, Mum's like, that's not Zoe Deschanel. I'm like, that's Zoe Deschanel. She's like, that is not Bones' sister. And I'm like, it is. And then you see her with, it's the hair. And also maybe like she's 20 years younger.
Yeah. So there's the meme for the week.
Yeah.
All right. So Lois Lane, Margot Kidder was meant to sing that song.
Oh.
The poem. But then they didn't. They just put a score underneath and made her say the weird spoken word.
Is that when poetry. It was meant to be Stockard Channing?
That would have worked.
You know what it could have been? A Stockard Channing Neil Diamond duet. It could have been. It nearly was.
Oh, my God. Margot Kidder, I'm giving another overall nomination for the disgustingly horny interview.
Uh-huh.
Are your vitals normal?
Yeah. How big are you?
How big are you? Yes. It's not Grindr. And do you like pink?
Yes.
What colour my underwear? Do you like pink?
And also, she doesn't have lung cancer. Creepy. She might have radiation poisoning now.
What?
That's a Family Guy thing. We've all got breast X-ray cancer. Apparently, it's like our breasts have been X-rayed for 8 hours a day for 5 years. Anyway.
What are we giving it to?
Really?
I want to give it to the poem.
If that's one, it was pretty bad. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. We can't, because we can't, I want to say the Army Guys again, but we can't give them both.
All right. Lois Lane's William Shatner impersonation.
With an honourable mention to there's no P in rapist. There's only one P in rapist.
Oh,
sorry.
God. The most cryingest scene named after Ben Stiller in There's Something About Mary. My eyes moistened slightly at the dad's funeral, even though I don't generally cry at sad things, and I already knew that he was going to die.
That cemetery looks like Plan 9.
Yeah.
It's terrible cemetery.
But that's it for me. So not really a crying moment.
It did nothing for me.
What things, before we go into most iconic scene, what things would you change?
I wouldn't have cast Margot Kidder. Not too much.
I would have changed. There's one peen rapist. The way the soldiers talk about Miss Tessmacher.
Yeah.
And
Well, yeah.
I would have changed seeing Superman's little willy.
Yes. I was almost going to pause and see if it had a nudity rating. Yeah, I wouldn't have shown the willy, actually.
Yeah, that's a very 70s choice.
And also then just like, we're going to adopt him. Like, they don't go to the police and go, we found a child. That's what normal people would do.
No, well, Martha knows that he's not of this world, so there's no records.
Martha fucker.
What's the most iconic scene?
You know what?
Is it just him flying?
Wait, let me get rid of Niagara Falls because that's in Superman 2. I was going to say the flying with Lois on their date, if you will.
Yeah.
But I think it's the flying backwards around the Earth. Or is it the first time he does the change and then does the helicopter?
I just think it's him flying. Like, if you think about, like, the tagline of this movie is "You'll believe a man can fly."
Yeah, but he's flying backwards around the Earth.
No, I just think him flying.
For the first time we see him fly?
Any time we see him flying in this movie is iconic because it was such a thing.
Okay.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Because my two nominations were Flying with Lois.
Yeah.
And just him flying.
I wrote Flying with Lois, first time changing to Superman and saving Lois, and flying around the Earth backwards.
I think it's just, I'll just find some scenes of him flying on TikTok and put that as the most iconic scene.
Wow.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's so iconic that in 1999, we went to Warner Brothers Movie World and they still had a thing where you could stand in place in front of a green screen and fly like Superman.
I don't remember that.
Dad did it.
I remember going on the Wild Wild West ride 11 times in a row.
It was on the little train tour that doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, okay.
And then they were like, someone from the audience, and I think they picked Dad.
Is this before or after I gave myself whiplash on the Batman ride?
And Dean cried.
But that's what I was going to say, but I didn't want to mention it.
Middle brother, he's not here.
Oh.
All right. That is all we've got to say about Superman. It's an iconic film. It's an iconic film in that it means we've now got 20 million Marvel films.
Yeah.
And DC has not made a better superhero film than this.
Not even Superman 4, Quest for Peace? No. Unless you count Harry Potter as a superhero.
It's not DC.
Oh, DC,
Oh, did I say DC or Warner Brothers? DC Warner Brothers
yeah.
has not made a better superhero film than this.
Not even Aquaman?
Aquaman made $1 billion.
Yeah, well, now Amber Heard has to pay legal fees, so she's not seen any of it.
All right, I talked about at the end of the last episode that the Superman opening titles are better music than the Star Wars opening titles, and I stand by it. But that leads us into our top 5 because we are reviewing Superman on Two Drink Cinema this week. Our top 5 John Williams scores.
I reckon we should do 5, 4, 3, 2 honourable mentions. 1.
Okay.
Lee. Okay, listeners.
This is
Lee
tough.
and I were texting back and forth today while I was pretending to do work at my desk.
Yep.
Hoping nobody from work is listening. This was. I said, can we have a top 10 instead? How many honourable mentions do you have? Because that's what I've gone with.
Look,
I have 3.
I've got 4.
Okay.
I could easily have 5.
Yeah.
Like this, I could easily make this into a top 10.
Okay.
But I'm going to do a top 5.
Okay.
Okay. My 5th spot,
Uh-huh.
John Williams scores. We're looking at the whole movie.
Yeah.
We did talk about John Williams themes, John Williams opening themes.
Uh-huh.
But we thought if we did John Williams themes, there would be 4 from Star Wars and
Home Alone.
Right? So
Harry Potter and Jewel of the Fates, Imperial March.
the opening theme, the Force theme.
Yeah.
And then either Harry Potter, Jurassic, any of the ones we're about to
Jurassic
mention.
Park. Anyway.
Right?
Yeah.
My number 5 is Home Alone.
Okay.
Okay? It is... That theme.
So what we have to do when you say your thing, I have to sing it, and when I say
But then the sleigh bells,
Yeah.
in the little chasey stuff, it really fits. And when you think about John Williams, you think big brassy,
Yes.
Superman, Star Wars stuff. But then he does Home Alone, and you're like, oh, he can do kids stuff too. Yes, he did borrow quite a bit of Home Alone for Harry Potter, but we'll move on.
I also think it's very iconic in the fact that the movie is linked to that sound, which is very John Williams as well.
Yeah.
In the fact that you hear that and you go, oh, Home Alone.
Yeah. Yes, 100%.
Whereas other things you hear and you go, I think is that Gladiator or is that Pirates of the Caribbean? I always get them confused. Sorry, Hans Zimmer. I'm not having a go at you, Hans Zimmer. But I kind of did.
Well, I
don't think that's my favorite. Gladiator is my favorite non-John Williams music.
Hans Zimmer is a great composer, but I don't think he's a theme composer like John Williams.
No.
Like he's not gone, this is going to be the Marcus Aurelius theme.
No, not as much as John Williams or the guy who writes the music for Game of Thrones.
I don't know who that is. What's your number 5?
My number 5...
I hope I can sing it.
Scraped in.
Oh, okay.
Because Catch Me If You Can. Yeah. Because I like that it's
different.
Different.
Yeah, it's nice. It's different. It's nice.
It's unusual. Yeah. And I like that it goes and the credits with them moving around.
The whole score, though?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the main bit of the score.
My number 4?
Yep.
E.T. the Extraterrestrial.
Same.
Okay.
My number 4 is also...
Sing it together.
I'm playing the bassoon, can you tell?
An octave higher than the bassoon would play.
Well,
it's great. It's a great theme, and then it's a great score, and a whole lot of good shit happens in the movie.
Yeah.
My number 4
is E.T.
Oh, my number 3, thank you, is Jurassic Park.
My number 3... Oh, wait. That's E.T.
That's E.T.
Shit.
Jurassic Park. Yeah, both of the themes you could have sung as well.
You should know how to sing my number 3.
Oh, good. I hope so.
Jaws.
Done. That's got Richard Dreyfuss in it, though.
I'm not judging it on who's in it.
My number 2, you should be able to sing this.
Okay.
Indiana Jones.
Okay.
The whole franchise.
The whole franchise. Okay, let me think of the music for Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Raiders March.
I'm blanking. I'm blanking because I listened to it today. This is the most frustrating thing.
People are yelling at their radios now.
No, that's...
Can you imagine?
Shane's going to be listening to this going, what the fuck?
People are out walking their dogs right now, just being like, come the fuck on. In the middle of the street. Your number 2?
Is Jurassic Park.
Oh. What's the other theme from Jurassic Park? What did you sing? Is the other theme?
There's the other one.
Anyway, I'm not going to sing it. It's not going to come to me.
What are your 4 honourable mentions?
Okay. My honourable mention, Harry Potter.
Okay.
All right. Catch Me If You Can.
Mm-hmm.
Superman.
Yep.
Catch Me If You Can and Superman. A lot of weight on the opening theme.
Yes. Yeah.
And the 1984 Los Angeles Olympics.
Fucking knew you were going to say that. I knew it.
Because one of the texts you sent me was like, can we rate it by how often it gets stuck in our head?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, then it's the 1984.
If we were rating it by how often it gets stuck in my head, mine would be Jurassic Park. Because Jurassic Park, sometimes just randomly I'll sing Jurassic Park.
Do you know what helps the 1984 Los Angeles Olympics get stuck in my head is the fact
Carl
that
Lewis.
in school band, we played a medley of John Williams marches.
Yeah.
And it was the Imperial March, the Raiders March, and then because we're a band in Melbourne in the 90s, the 1984 Los Angeles Olympics.
All right,
theme.
I had to cut it down to 4 honourable mentions.
Okay.
My fifth honorable mention is Harry Potter. So my 4 honorable mentions are Home Alone,
Okay, yep.
Indiana Jones, specifically Raiders.
Right, okay.
Did I say Home Alone already? Yeah. Home Alone, Indiana Jones, Superman, and Schindler's List.
Yeah, see, he's done, like, in terms of iconic scores, like, I'm sure that Schindler's List...
Because Schindler's List is, because it's very emotional, the movie Schindler's List, in case you don't know. And the song, it's just the music hits you right in the feels as well.
But then there's all people like Empire of the Sun is great, and Hook is great.
Hook is good.
But then he also, like...
Memoirs of a Geisha.
Wrote for the screen and did additional scoring for The Witches of Eastwick and... what's the other one that I said? Fiddler on the Roof.
Yeah.
So he's done a fair bit of work.
I will also say, my last honourable mention...
Before we agree on the number one.
Yeah. Is specific the specific themes.
Okay.
Jewel of the Fates.
Yeah.
That's his best theme. I know, controversial. You'd think it'd be another theme from Star Wars. But Jewel of the Fates is insanely good.
It is very good.
Ha, ha, ha. You know, it's all that shit as well.
But but my number one, and I think your number one is Star Wars.
Yeah, it's Star Wars. Mine was The Fabelmans. What are you talking about? No, it's Star Wars.
It's Star Wars.
The first one. Well, because the first one, then they use it again. Yeah, it's that Cantina Band.
There is the Cantina Band, but there's also like the love theme, the Force theme of like Luke Skywalker gets his own like feeling of the Force theme, but also a hero theme.
Leia gets a theme.
Yeah.
Chewie gets a theme.
Daisy Ridley doesn't get a theme.
She does.
I'm sure she does. Jewel of the Fates, by the way, best thing about episode 1.
Well, besides Jar Jar Binks.
People are switching off now.
Besides the kid. What did the kid ever do?
And
I'm Hayden Christensen. Yeah.
What did the kid? Nothing, really.
Huh. Is he, you know what, now that I've said that, I'm going to open my phone and go to Facebook, and it's going to come up with a suggested ad that is, the kid from Star Wars Episode 1, is unrecognisable today.
And I'll open TikTok, and there'll be some video of, like, what's the kid that played Anakin Skywalker doing now?
I don't even know his bloody name.
What is his name?
Because Hayden Christensen's back, isn't he?
Well, yeah, he's back into the fold.
He's fine. He's redemptioned.
Anakin Skywalker young. Pictures, good. Jake Lloyd.
Doesn't he play for the Sydney Swans?
Before he was in Star Wars, he might have been in Jingle All the Way. People also search for Hayden Christensen, Natalie Portman, Madison Lloyd, and Ewan McGregor.
One of the funniest bits in a Family Guy Star Wars flashback, because there's several of them, is you know how when they redid Return of the Jedi and they put Hayden Christensen in there instead of the actual Darth Vader?
Yes.
And Peter imagining them there. And it's like, oh, I am this, and because it's his dad, and then his dad, and always something, they're dead. Yep. And then it's just the ghost, and he goes, and I'm Hayden Christensen.
It's not a good story about Jake Lloyd.
Oh, we won't go there.
Yeah.
Man. Let's end the note on a
or
high.
His sister. Okay. Now, we talked last week about what we're going to do to start Halloween.
Yes.
Are we going to do Halloween?
The movie.
Because it's 45 years.
It is.
Or are we going to do Robot Monster?
Oh, we really should do Halloween.
We can't do a 6 degrees
we can't
from
do both?
Superman to Robot Monster.
Oh, no, because nobody's in it.
No.
Nobody's in it.
Our list...
Could we do both?
Our list at this stage, we need to do The Exorcist. Because
we have to do The Exorcist because it's the greatest horror movie ever made.
And you want to do Hocus Pocus again.
Any excuse to watch Hocus Pocus.
Because we haven't done Hocus Pocus in the new format.
We haven't done Halloween in the new format.
There's also Addams Family Values.
We have to do that because capital N nostalgia.
Okay. So let's... All right. Let's do... I'm just looking at dates. We got 4 movies in the month of October. All right, I'm going to make a
Play
decision.
that same song.
We're going to start the Halloween month with Halloween.
Ah, cool.
Okay?
Iconic.
How do we 6 degrees from Halloween to Superman? Jamie Lee Curtis, Gene Hackman.
They were both in something.
Together?
Was Gene Hackman in Fish Called Wanda? No, that's Kevin Kline.
Kevin Kline in something with
Joan
Gene
Cusack. All right, Gene Hackman, Marlon Brando.
Marlon Brando.
It's going to be one of those two.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Terrence Stamp.
Terrence Stamp.
Jamie Lee Curtis has been in a lot.
She's been in a lot of Halloween movies. She was in True Lies, and Arnold Schwarzenegger was almost Superman.
Yeah. Done.
Okay.
No, Jamie Lee Curtis.
I bet there's a really obvious one.
No, because you go like Jamie Lee Curtis.
Listeners, we have to do this without Google. So
yeah, we don't
why
Google.
It takes a while.
No, Jamie Lee Curtis, Gene Hackman, Unforgiven, Clint Eastwood, Morgan Freeman.
Nah. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Danny DeVito.
Well,
Uma
Gene
Thurman,
Hackman, Gene Hackman,
Clooney.
Birdcage,
Gene Hackman, Birdcage gets you to Robin Williams and Nathan Lane.
and Diane Weiss, Callista
Diane
Flockhart.
Weiss, Callista Flockhart, and the Hank Azaria.
Jamie Lee Curtis was on an episode of Ally McBeal. No, I don't know.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
What else has she done? Oscar winner Jamie Lee Curtis. We have to say that legally now.
True. She has done Everything Everywhere All at Once. Can we go Jamie Lee Curtis to Ke Huy Quan to John Williams?
Or could we go to Harrison Ford?
How does that get us to Gene Hackman?
That's a very good question, Lee.
Mark McClure is Jimmy Olsen and is Marty McFly's brother.
Is he?
Yeah. Because I was like, he looks familiar. And then I looked it up and it comes up on his top whatevers on Google as Back to the Future 3, but not 1 or 2.
Oh, well,
but
he's
then
not
once
in
you
it.
click further,
Yeah.
you do see that he's Dave McFly,
Oh, okay.
which gets us to Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd. So it doesn't really help us.
I feel like I should be able to... Gene Hackman, Royal Tenenbaums?
Didn't you say Gene Hackman and Joan Cusack?
No, that was Kevin Kline.
Well, you can go... Oh, you can't go Gene Hackman to Kevin Kline. We didn't do that.
Gene Hackman, Royal Tenenbaums,
Angelica Houston, Bill Murray.
Gwyneth, and Wilson. Did you say Ben Stiller?
Gee, this is tough. Tougher than it should be.
It'll be easier than
Someone will know something.
What
out of
if...
this.
Okay, no, actually, wait. Because Kyle Richards, who was in Halloween,
Yeah.
she was in ER. And now
Okay.
she's on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Wow.
Jamie Lee Curtis lives in Beverly Hills.
Jamie Lee
This is
Curtis.
hard.
Lindsay Lohan.
Oh,
Were they
yeah.
Freaky Friday?
Freaky Friday.
That doesn't help us get us Lindsay Lohan to Gene Hackman.
To Tina Fey. I
Alec
feel like...
Baldwin.
You know what? It's just annoying because I feel like I should be able
should
to
be easy.
name more Gene Hackman movies.
Yeah. Isn't he... Is he in The Fugitive? No, that's Tommy Lee Jones and Harrison Ford.
What if we went... That gets me back to Gene Hackman. I was going to go like Marlon Brando, Robert De Niro,
Yeah.
Ben Stiller.
No.
That gets me back
No,
to
no.
Gene Hackman.
Marlon Brando,
Yeah.
Al Pacino,
Al Pacino.
Chris O'Donnell, Scent of a Woman,
Scent of a Woman, yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, Batman and Robin.
Oh, True Lies.
True Lies. That was...
Or you could have gone Batman and Robin, George Clooney, Kyle Richards, nurse unnamed number 4 in ER. She was in actually a fair bit of ER. She just never really had it. She wasn't one of the mains.
We should not have to resort to Chris O'Donnell to get...
Of all people.
From like the caliber of Marlon Brando and Al Pacino up to the caliber of Oscar-winning Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, we went...
Chris O'Donnell.
We went Oscar winner to Oscar winner via Chris O'Donnell.
Chris O'Donnell. He is good in Scent of a Woman.
You know what? We've never used Kevin Bacon in any of these.
No. Could we? Kevin Bacon, John Lithgow,
Tom Hanks,
Ed Julia
Harris,
Roberts,
Elizabeth Shue, Sarah Jessica Parker.
Elizabeth Shue
is in Back to the
Future with Mark McClure. Mark McClure, Elizabeth Shue, Kevin Bacon. Didn't you say Tom Hanks?
Yeah.
To Jamie Lee Curtis. Kevin Bacon to Jamie Lee Curtis.
Anyway, we've done it.
Oh, we've done it. Right.
We've already done it.
Next week,
I'm determined
we're watching Halloween.
That there is a better solution.
All right. We'll see what comes up. But next week, we're watching Halloween for the start of the Halloween month of October. It is the 45th year anniversary of that movie. And surprisingly, they're not releasing another reboot.
Also, good movie. Music.
Yes. John Carpenter directed and composed. We'll talk more about that next week. Make sure you like and subscribe and join our Facebook group. Thank you, Brett.
Thanks, Lee. Cheers. Thanks for listening to Two Drink Cinema. We would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which this podcast was produced and pay our respects to elders past and present.
If you'd like to support the podcast, either leave a tip or become a member for early access to these episodes by using the link in the show notes.
Join the Facebook group for more chat about the movies we review and make sure you follow us on the socials to keep up to date.
Hit the subscribe button and leave us a review on your podcast app.
Happy viewing and drink responsibly.